It's time for the Northwoods Cooking Show. Starring Uncle Roy and Miss Callie, the troublemaking dog.
Hello and welcome to the Northwoods Cooking Show. I'm your host, Uncle Roy, and as you can tell, it's fall and we're going to be going into Octoberfest. So we're going to have some fun German food recipes today. If you go online to the Northwoods Cooking Show on YouTube, I have my past episodes in October of Octoberfest. I have a lot of German food recipes in those too, from brats to Wiener Schnitzel to Jaeger Schnitzel. A lot of fun foods to make for the Octoberfest season. But today we're going to be making, first of all, we're going to be making the Bavarian Pretzels. This is a homemade yeast dough. It's extremely similar to making homemade bagels. It's just shaped differently. But it's basically almost the same recipe. So for this here, we're going to be mixing up first. You want to take and heat up your bowl. It's, in this October weather, it's slightly chilly out. So your yeast isn't going to rise in your dishes if you have cold utensils. So just run them underneath hot water for about a minute or so, and that's going to just help you heat up the bowl. Because the coldness is going to deter your bread from rising. It's going to take a lot longer and it might not even activate. So make sure your utensils are warm, not hot, just warm. And in the bowl first, we're going to be mixing up 1 cup of flour. Now this recipe is going to make 6 large Bavarian pretzels. So depending upon how many you want to make, depends on, doubling or tripling your recipe. But this will make 6 big pretzels. So we have 1 cup of flour, and along with 1 tablespoon of yeast. And we need a teaspoon of sugar and 2 tablespoons of softened butter. Okay, and then we'll put in 1 1/3 cup of warm water. Not hot, because we don't want to, deactivate that yeast. We don't want to burn that off. Third cup. Okay, now we're going to mix this up. There we go. Just mix that up thoroughly. We don't need to whip it. We just want to mix it up. And then we want this to sit for about 15 minutes until it starts to get bubbly. And because it is cold, I'm just going to stick this in my warm ovens on as low as possible for go. We don't want to heat up. We just want to keep it warm. In fact, I'm even going to take and stick a pot holder in just so we have a crack there, because we don't want to get too hot. And then we'll be right back. Okay, now we can take this out. Get it nice and foamy, nice and bubbly. And to this, we're going to be adding a 1/4 teaspoon of the kosher salt, and along with 2 more cups of the all-purpose flour. Now with this, we're going to change beaters from the paddle to the dough hook, and we're going to let this mix and knead for about 8 minutes until it's nice and smooth and elastic. and then we'll be right back. Okay, now we'll take this out. We can take and put this on the counter, and we're going to take and just softly knead up the dough here. I'm going to put a little bit of flour on the countertop. And we'll just scrape out our dough. And then we'll just take and knead this portion of the dough just for about a minute or two until we can get that smooth and elastic feeling to the dough, which I can feel already. The dough hook does wonders in the machine. So I don't have to do a lot of this kneading by hand. When you just feel that smooth elasticity of the dough, then you know you're done. Almost like a wet rubber band. And then we'll take the bowl and we're going to put in just a little bit of oil because we're going to proof this now. And you can just smooth the oil then around the bowl. And then put in your dough, roll it around so that oil is covered around the entire ball of dough. And then we'll just cover this with plastic wrap and put it in a warm place and let it rise for about an hour, and then we can come back and shape into the pretzels. Okay, now our dough is nice and risen. Take that out, and then we're going to divide this into 6 even pieces, and then we're going to take and roll these out. After we divide these in 6, we let them rest for about 10 minutes. Then we're going to take the pieces, and you want to roll this out into approximately 15-inch long rope. And let's see, I got 12, 13, 14, 15. Right there. Okay. Now, take and make a loop. Bring the ends together. Twist over. And tuck under. And then we get our pretzel. Now we're gonna, after we shape these, we're gonna put them in a bath of boiling water, which is about 2 cups of water, along with 3 tablespoons of baking soda. And let's put this all together. And then we're going to take and dip the pretzels into the water bath for approximately 45 seconds. And then we'll put those on our baking sheet. And let me just roll this out first, and then we'll do the bath. Okay, now these are the pretzel stick dough. And now this was heated up to a boil. Then we're going to take it off the heat. And this brings back to a boil. And then you gotta get a slotted spoon or spatula. And let's see. We can take and make an egg wash then. Got 1 egg, along with a tablespoon of water. And we'll just mix this up. Now water's boiling. And we take a spatula. And we can take this off the heat now after it comes to a boil. And then we'll just slide our pretzel right into the water. And like I said, we're going to let these soak for about 45 seconds. And about halfway through, you can just flip them over and make sure you get the other side. And then we'll just put them back on our sheet, and then I'll be right back. Okay, now, move this over just a little bit. You can see how much more they puffed up after you soak them in the bath like that. And this is the same way the way you make bagels also. You do the same thing. Now we'll take our egg wash, which is 1 egg and 1 tablespoon water. And we're gonna just take and just brush these lightly. This will aid in the browning of the pretzel. Now, if you want to experiment, you can with different flavors. You would mix in with the dough. A good one is onion bagels. And you can just take a package of, I'd say about half a package maybe, of the Lipton onion soup mix, and mix that in with your dry ingredients when you're making your bread. You could also do Lipton cup of soup and do the tomato soup. If you want to do like a tomato, and then you can dice in some fresh basil or dried basil and have tomato basil pretzels. So you can experiment and get many different flavors that you want to try. But you know, the first time you always want to try them plain, just to make sure you get the use of making them. And then you can experiment with all the different kind of flavors that you want to put in here. Now we're going to bake these in a 450-degree oven for approximately 8 to 10 minutes until golden brown. And after I get done brushing these, which are just about done here, then we're going to sprinkle these with coastal salt. A big granule salt. You can find pretzel salts too in the store, in specialty stores if you can find them. But kosher salt works good too because it's large grain. And after you bake these, you can dip them in your favorite dipping sauce. The most popular is just regular mustard. You can use German brown mustard if you want to, or you can take and mix up your mustard with a couple tablespoons of mustard with like a tablespoon of honey, so if you want a honey mustard dipping sauce. There's many different ways and varieties that you can take and do, but traditionally it's just plain mustard on a plain pretzel. And so let me see, get that done here. You can have too much salt in pretzels. Oh, Kelly, I would be just begging for these. Oh, she loves eating the doughs. Oh, she loved eating doughs. So then we'll just put these in the 450 oven for about 8 to 10 minutes. And just keep an eye on them until they get a nice golden brown. And you might want to rotate halfway through so you don't get like burnt in the back and raw in the front. And then we'll be right back. These are just gorgeous. Look at these beauteous pretzels. They're really pretty. So then we're just going to transfer these. I'm going to put these on my tray here. And like I said, now you serve these with mustard and a big stein of beer. There's nothing better than pretzels and beer. Aren't those pretty? Oh, let's get a close-up of those. These look really pretty. Aren't those nice? Ooh, we gotta dive into those. So now I just have some brown mustard here. And you can use yellow mustard, whatever, personal preference. Try a big piece of mustard on the pretzel. Oh. Wait for Carol Alex. I was completely like, oh, the sound. Oh. These are very good. Oh, these are delicious. These are better than at the mall. Nice and soft and crunchy on the outside. Very hot though, very hot. Nice and golden brown. So I need is like 8 to 10 minutes. Oh, these are good. So, for your Octoberfest meal, homemade Bavarian pretzels. Prosit. Hello, now we're back to our second recipe, and this is going to be a kielbasa cabbage stew. So this is wonderful for your Oktoberfest, a wonderful sausage and cabbage stew. It's gonna be excellent. Oh God, this is so good. And very filling, very filling. This will fill you up. They hardly anybody makes those meat and potato stick to rib type dinners that Mom used to make for Dad and the whole family. You know what I mean? And everything is just like heat and serve, and it's, you go out to eat and it's a little teeny tiny portion of this, you know, can barely feed a bird. It's like meat and potatoes. I want to sit down at the table and eat and feel stuffed, and then go home, and then go lay down and watch the news or take a nap or whatever. But you know what I'm saying? Meat and potatoes, something sustenance. And this is one of those wonderful meals that just, it's gonna fill you up. You're gonna not feel hungry when you're done. So for this, we need I'm just using my cast iron skillet here, Dutch oven. That one, it's up to heavy. to hold everything in. Those aluminum pans and stuff they have nowadays are just so paper thin, it just burns everything so quickly. And there's like grandma used to have, you know, nothing works better than a cast iron skillet or kettle or griddle or something, because they retain the heat and they don't burn as easily as those real paper thin the metal ones do. Anyway, so what we're having is I got a half pound of Polish kielbasa, or you can use bratwurst, Polish sausages, any type of sausage meat is great. And we'll just put this in here. We're going to brown off the meat first. This should only take a couple minutes. And while that's browning, I'll show you the rest of the ingredients. We're going to be adding to this then, I have 2 cups of shredded cabbage. I have approximately 1 pound of cubed and peeled and diced potatoes. And I got those like into a medium dice, not too tiny, or otherwise as it's cooking, they're going to dissipate and start to dissolve on you. And if you have them too big, they're going to be raw in the center and mushy on the outside. So just a medium-sized dice. I'd say 1/2 to 1 inch square around in there. Then also I have 1 large onion, diced medium. And you can use any kind of onions you want. Personal preference. I happen to have a yellow onion. I like a little sweeter taste to it, not too pungent. And we're going to be using chicken base, black pepper, caraway seeds, sugar, a can of kidney beans, and leave the juice in because you want that thick juice in there to help thicken up the soup, the stew I mean, and apple cider vinegar. Give that a little shake, stir up the apple in there. This is going to be wonderful German. That caraway seed is what is a trick, and the sausage, the combination of flavors is wonderful. Okay, now to this we're going to be adding all of our vegetables. So we have the 2 cups of shredded cabbage, and we have a 1 large diced onion, and I got about 1 pound, 1.5 pounds of diced potatoes, and we're going to stir this up. I feel like a Dutch oven works best, or a fry pan might be a little, unless it had high rims to it, high sides. It's all gonna boil down, but initially you want something big to hold everything in there. And then I need 2¼ cups of water. That's 2¼ And we're going to bring this back to a boil, or bring it to a boil. And I'm going to put in about 1 teaspoon of chicken base. Then we also need 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. You know, those Germans, I'm German myself, salt and pepper and everything. That was what Dad's cooking. He wouldn't go for spices. The salt and pepper, you're lucky if you got that in there. He didn't like Mom put any other spices in there. And then we need 1 teaspoon of caraway seeds. Careful your dentures. Get those seeds stuck underneath there, they hurt. Sure you got your palate in time. And then we need 2 tablespoons of sugar. Ooh, this is gonna be so good. Can't wait to get to try this one. Ooh, yummy, yummy, yummy. Good meat and potato type of dish. Ooh. And we'll stir this up to get all those seasonings and mixed in with all the flavorings. Okay, gotta wait for this to come to a boil. Turn it up just a little bit. And then when it starts to boil, turn it down to a simmer and cover it. And we'll let that simmer for about 15, 20 minutes until the potatoes are tender. And then we'll be right back. That smells good. Very German-y. Now we'll take and pour in our can of kidney beans. That's with the juices. Along with, shake that up, 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. And this gives a real German taste. 1, 2, 3. I can smell that vinegar. Ooh, that smells good. All right. And that's very liquidy. And turn the cover on. And now we'll let this simmer for about another 10 minutes. And this is a thick stew. It's very juicy. So now we need to take and thicken it up. So we have 2 tablespoons of flour and a 1/4 cup of water. We're going to increase the temperature again. We want to bring this back to a boil. And we want to mix up the paste here. And then we're going to pour this into our stew. And we just let that come back to a boil so that it will thicken up then. And then that's it. And this will be our Kielbasa cabbage stew. And then this is our Kielbasa cabbage stew. Won't that look good? This is wonderful for your Octoberfest party. So this is your Kielbasa cabbage stew along with the Bavarian pretzels. Won't that look good? So I hope you enjoyed these recipes today for our Octoberfest party. Our Bavarian pretzels and our Kielbasa cabbage stew. So I hope you have a nice Octoberfest and nice warm days and the cool chilly nights. So from the Northwoods Cooking Show, I like to say, eat healthy, be safe, and spread the sunshine. Bye-bye.